That was Time by NF. Good morning and welcome to Rhema Central Coast. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here. I have half the voice that I normally do, so I do apologise for that. But I'm going to try and make it work, so just bear with me. It could be an interesting morning. I always find it amusing actually when it comes to the voice. I think even listening to different speakers, my husband and I have very different things that we're drawn to in terms of who we're listening to, and there are particular people that my husband would think, oh, I can't really sit and listen to that. And I think, oh my goodness, I love this. This is awesome. And when we've spoken about it, it's been interesting to recognize that there's differences that we are distracted by. So things like the sound of a person's voice, maybe an accent, there can be different things that deter us from listening in. And I think it's one of those things that we don't really have control over, do we? But it's as long as we are open to hearing whatever they have to say, I think is a really cool thing. So I'm certainly being challenged on that this morning. My voice is not playing like normally. I'm not really sure what this thing is. It's not really, I've done all the COVID, RSV, flu tests, and it's just one of those things that's just hanging around. Thankfully for my 16-year-old son, he and I have been sharing it between us. It's been lovely. I'm not really sure how the rest of the family have avoided it. Having said that, my 4-year-old was not feeling real great last week, so maybe it's just one of those things that's gradually going through us. Hopefully not for too much longer, though. Guys, we are listening. You're listening to Rhema, obviously, and we are talking. We're talking some new stuff this week. I last week finished off our sort of. What do you call it? It's more like a series type thing, I guess you could call it. Just like we did a few weeks sort of thinking about what would Jesus do and looking at different parts of the Bible and really examining, how he thinks, what sort of things that how he would respond to things, that sort of thing. And obviously being challenged by that in ourselves and working out how then we should be living if we're trying to model our lives on how he did things, how he saw the world, that sort of thing. It's looking at the character of who he was and working out what we sort of need to work on in terms of how we live life. And we're making a bit of a shift this week. So this week I was sort of dancing around the idea of a few different things. I wasn't really very sure about what to do this week. I really felt very, very flat. And maybe it's just because I was coming down with something, I don't know, but one of those weeks where you just feel like I've got nothing to give. It's been one of those weeks this week, and I think I have actually been able to give myself permission to just stop chasing all the things and just learn to just stop and just, I don't know, it was actually beautiful. The beginning of this week, I experienced a peace that I don't think I've really ever experienced in terms of just being okay to just be. I gave myself permission to just go and do some shopping, to go and, do little things for myself that I had forgotten that there's beauty in just calling time out sometimes and just going, yeah, you know what? We all need that. We need that time. So peace has been something that I thankfully have experienced this week, even though there's been a sense of, I don't know where I'm going with a lot of different things. I don't know what's, professionally, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going in terms of what I have to offer in terms of church. I'm a bit sort of flat with that. My kids, I was kind of going, oh, do I really have to pack the bags this week? And, all those sorts of things. But funnily enough, it's been one of those weeks that even though I have been not burdened, but kind of just feeling a little bit just flat, there's still been plenty of opportunity to get things done. And that is pretty special in itself. I think when God just equips us and goes, you know what, yeah, I know you're feeling like this, but you're still capable, so let's work on how you're going to get the tasks done. It's been really refreshing to have his protection and provision in that. So where am I going with this? Well, I decided I was actually going to be sort of thinking and sort of exploring the whole concept of rejection and the fact that every one of us have moments where we experience rejection, but I'm going to leave that till next week, I think. I actually, as I was driving in this morning, I really felt like God was going, no, I think today's a good day for you to just talk about how you feel about me. And this is where honesty is a bit like, what do I do with that? Because I think culturally, in the Christian cultural context, we are taught that we are, there's almost an expectation to be in total awe and total thanks and gratitude all the time. And sometimes we don't feel it. Sometimes we just feel like, come on, God, this is, your plans. I know you've told me that your plans that you have for me, they're for me in terms of, protecting me and prospering the future that you have for me. You are, he promises through Jeremiah 29:11-13. Obviously, again, that scripturally it can be mistaken, but I think the words themselves really do speak. He says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and protect you, plans to give you a hope for a future. But we don't always feel it. And that honestly is where I've been this last few weeks, really. I have pulled back a fair bit with stuff at church. I pulled myself off the worship team. I have struggled to be connected with what's happening in our not-for-profit organisation that I have been overseeing. I have tried to work out, I've been kind of praying, going, God, why are we here when we physically have to live somewhere else? And it's been frustrating. But I'm being brutally honest because I think that we don't be honest when we are in this season of I'm just flat, God, I've got nothing to give. I'm tired. I don't know. I would rather just sit and do nothing. And I think sometimes we need to know that other people feel like that. I think for myself, I have learnt through many different seasons that being honest about where we are at is the biggest breakthrough a lot of the times in getting past it. And I know, the experiences that I've had with previous times gone by, I have learnt that if we cover up what we're truly feeling, what we're really experiencing, it doesn't really get us anywhere. It doesn't help us to push through to tomorrow. It doesn't help us to find that hope that we are looking for. It doesn't help us to necessarily get that sort of, kick in the pants that says, come on, let's go, let's do this. Sometimes it's just a cover. And to really get the satisfaction of actually doing what we are called to do in life, which is to live for God, sometimes we just have to confront the truth. Sometimes we're just not feeling it. So I'm going to leave it there for a bit, guys, but that's where we're headed this morning. And I don't even know myself exactly where we're going. I'm just rolling with it with God. I'm just kind of going, all right, you and me, speak through me, God, and help me to be able to hear from you guys, from you yourself, and to be challenged on that. But also in doing that this is a safe place here on this through this radio station, through this platform of the airwaves, exploring those moments where God just feels like he's out there and he's not here in this moment, and he feels like he's removed himself from your situation. Big heavy stuff, but I think it's really, really important to talk real deep stuff sometimes. Anyway, I'll see you back here before too long. All right, guys, see you soon. And that was In My Blood by Joel Smallbone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Honestly, good morning. It is a good morning. I'm choosing to say that because we have introduced the concept of today, and it's probably not along the lines of good morning, but it is actually good morning. We have to focus in and remind ourselves that it is. It is also 24 years since I became a mother, guys. So a big happy birthday to my eldest daughter, Gemma. I do hope you are going to have a super duper day. It is an absolute blessing to be your mum, and I'm so thankful for just what a delight you are. I hope and pray you have a beautiful day. I don't know if I'm seeing you. I'm not sure what's happening today, but we will just play it as it comes. You probably don't want my germs anyway, so that's probably a good thing. But guys, honestly, kids are such a blessing. Doesn't matter how old they are. If they're 24 or they're a newborn, they are a blessing. And we are honestly blessed by, obviously, the gift of who they are, their innocence, their laughter, their joy, but just the way they challenge us sometimes too. I think, if anything, each of my kids have challenged me in different ways, and God works through that, doesn't he? He works through the challenges. He works on the character development. It's a gift, and I'm so thankful for my kids. But particularly today, I want to say happy birthday again to my big girl. So as I mentioned earlier, if you were listening a little bit earlier, I had talked about what we were going to be exploring today. Now, I had a few plans of what I thought I might be exploring, but then I felt like God was going, no, come on, Lindy, let's just talk about what's actually going on for you. Not to bring attention to myself, but more so because I think what I have been battling with in the last few weeks, probably last few months, but specifically in the last few weeks, is this sense of underwhelm, and I feel like God's quite removed. And I think that's the truth. I think there are times when we feel like that. But I think the church has frowned upon us actually verbalizing that. Now, how does that help anything? it just isolates. It isolates and removes those people who are feeling like it because they can't verbalize that this is my relationship with God right now. We're not hand in hand skipping along and life is wonderful. In fact, I'm finding it really hard to grab hold of his hand because I can't find it. I can't see where it is. That's the kind of mentality that someone who is in the same sort of headspace as what I'm talking might be. It is that sense of I'm reaching out, but I'm not feeling him anywhere. I'm not feeling the promises for the future that I would love to be experiencing. And when I want to normalize that, because I think normalizing the ability to say this is the truth of how I am sitting at the moment, how I'm feeling, the things that I'm experiencing, they're the biggest key in going, all right, I'm back. I'm holding on because it's out there now. I don't have to battle on my own. And we are encouraged to spur one another on, to lift each other up in prayer, to be there for each other. It's all scriptural. So when we see someone in our church, in our family, who is just a bit flat, they just don't know where they're going in terms of their spiritual walk or their faith journey, it is our responsibility, obviously, to kind of get behind them. But there are times where we're not feeling it either. And we're kind of going, how do I give when I've got nothing myself? And I think it's in those times that it just comes down to community. It comes down to commitment. It comes down to waiting, a sense of patience, and more than anything, faith. That God will step in, that God will intervene, that God will revive, will reignite passions, will reignite joy, will give the peace that we are looking for, because He's not a God that is dead. He's not done. He's a God still on the move, even when we can't feel it, even when we can't see the results, even when we can't see the things we're looking for. Now, one of the things I would say for myself is probably contributing to my sense of, it is like a bit like a burnout type feeling. It's kind of like this is just too hard. It's that sort of thing. I would say it is the need to be persistent in my own drive and my own direction. It's a need to stay on it. It's that frustration of, oh my goodness, this is just too hard. It is that frustration of, hurdle after hurdle. I've felt like I've kind of gone a few steps forward and then, hang on a sec, we've got to take a few steps back now. And so you kind of, you think, well, God, you've promised me this, but then you're allowing all these things to be harder than what they need to be. So, yeah, I think there's a psychological part of that too. It is the awareness of the frustrations, but in terms of what we talked about before, it is a period of time where God can challenge us and change us and equip us. I want to read you guys some scripture that is in regards to this sort of thing. Again, I do apologise for my very shaky voice this morning. It's not, anyway. If we start at James 1, 2-4, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If we look at Psalm 46:1, now this is one of those things that I think sometimes we have to hold on to psychologically. We might not feel it emotionally, we might not feel it spiritually, we may not see any physical results of where we are at that moment, but Psalm 46:1, God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in trouble. He'll be there. Romans 8:18, now consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. So God is a God who is still at work. Now I know what I'm saying here is I'm not talking about those catastrophes that occur in life that bring us down and tear our faith up. I'm not talking specifically like that. I'm just talking about the everyday blur. I've got nothing to give God. I'm just flat. I don't feel you. I don't see you. I've just got this disconnect. Now I want to say that this does not mean that this is going to hold on to me for a long time. In fact, I know that God's a God who moves in the moments. And the fact that He stirred me this morning to come here and say, hey, I'm not feeling it at the moment, is a sign that He's already on the move. He's saying to me, Lindy, this is actually what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a disconnect that says that, you feel like I'm not there for you at the moment, that you're not connected to me. And that's the start. That's the start of healing. So when I think of that, and I think, people tend to rush in and go, oh, what do we need to do? How do we deal with this scenario? They're not in the right place spiritually, blah, 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 blah. I actually think that sometimes that's the worst thing that can happen. I see it happen in churches. I see people rush in and go, oh, they're in a really bad space spiritually. And they can pull all responsibilities from them. They can make changes or choices based on what is happening in that very moment. Instead of going, okay, cool, that's where you are at the moment. So how do we support you in getting back into the game? How do we support you getting back onto the right track in terms of your spiritual walk or your spiritual faith? Now I'm all for timeout. I'm like, if you need it, you take it. But I also think that becomes I think when it's a forced, you take time out, you need to do this by church leadership at different times, I think that can be quite a devastating thing too. I think it can actually derail people's journey even further. It can create a sense of, I've seen friends just recently who I just think, man, you're doing so good. And then there were situations from churches they were involved in, and they had responsibilities pulled from beneath them. And that was all they had. That was all that they had in terms of their Christian faith at that time. Sometimes we just need to give people purpose. Sometimes we just need to let God just have his way in the moment, to allow that person to acknowledge how they actually feel, to speak it, to verbalize it, but also to give them that space to go, okay, that's just where you are right now. We're not going to pull responsibilities from you, because if you're enjoying doing this, if it is giving you a sense of purpose or something to fill your life with that is good, why would we want to take that from you right now? If you need a rest, sure, you let us know. You give us that, heads up that, hey, it's a need. It's something that you do need, and we all do need rest from time to time, obviously. But I guess what I'm saying is that our approach to those who speak up and say, I'm struggling, has to be very much a monotone sort of response sometimes. We can't just jump in and go, oh, we need to just make everything, clear it all up and go into emergency sort of, flashing red lights and stuff. There are times for that, and there are times where it just needs to be, this is just how I'm feeling. And tomorrow is a different day, and tomorrow I might get up and be like, cool, he's right here. I can feel him. I experience him. Actually, I saw him in a dream last night. Or I saw him in a child's face the other day when they were laughing. Or, we've got to be careful in our response. And I think that's why a lot of us hesitate. We hesitate to say how we are feeling because we are concerned about the other side. What happens if I actually speak up and say, this is where I'm at the moment? It's a big one, and I don't know that any of us really have the right answers or the answers, but all we can do is just be prepared for God to work through those moments. Anyway, I'm going to give my voice a little bit of a rest for a sec, and I'll see you guys back here, really soon. So, see you then. 1 Peter 5:10, and the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. 2 Corinthians 12:9-10, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. And if you got that last little bit, you're doing very well, because my voice just decided to go, not happening today. But that's exactly where we're going today, guys. We are talking about those times where we're just not feeling it. You are joining us here at Rhema CC. We are talking big things on Sunday mornings, and that is kind of where we're going. Today is about exploring those moments of I'm not there, God. I'm not feeling it, but at the same time, I'm going to speak hope into other people through the experiences that I've had, because I know you're a God of restoration. I know it to my core. I don't feel it right now. I don't feel like you're close. But I know that you are a God who is a God who rebuilds, who connects, who overcomes, who challenges, but loves big. I know it. I know it psychologically. I know it to the core of who I am, but I'm waiting. So I will speak. I will speak, and I will share my trials with other people so that they can see, who you are, because I know it. I know you're a God who will not leave me in this. It's a hard one, guys. It is a hard one to be thinking about the bigger, deeper stuff. And it's one of those ones that's a bit tricky, because you don't want to bring everyone down. You don't want to, make everyone feel depressed or defeated. You want to be able to keep the inspiration, if you like, alive, and the hope and the joy and all those things that we think of when we think of God and what we are supposed to feel all the time. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just don't feel those things. But it is so important for us to acknowledge and to speak truth and to be willing for God to use those moments of honesty and for him to just do what he needs to do in those situations, because, you know, acknowledgement is so much a part of how we allow then God to just go, okay, I'm in here and I'm going to sort things out. I'm going to revitalize you. I'm going to bring you up and make you a whole person again. You're going to feel me. You're going to experience me. So prayer is certainly a part of that, guys. It is a prayer, the prayer, even when we don't want to pray. I don't know how many times in the last few weeks I've just been like, God, I know I need to come to you for everything. I feel like I'm just kind of just half talking to you because I'm tired. I'm tired of these half talks. And there is something on my end that probably needs to shift. I'm working that out. I'm working out what I need to do, but I also need to be aware. And I am aware that it's just where I am at the moment, and God knows. God knew this moment. He knew that I'd be talking about this to you guys this morning right here. I didn't know that. I didn't know that till this morning. I really did not know where to go and what to talk about today, but it just felt like God was going, just give it to them straight. Just be, upfront and honest and say, today is not one of those days when I'm feeling it. But, what I take joy in is knowing that tomorrow is a different day. And tomorrow things can start to happen. That wind of hope can sweep in again. That wind of rejuvenation, of a new beginning. I actually love that we have a new beginning each Sunday morning. I love listening to Greg Laurie anyway, but just the whole concept of a new beginning, because it is. Every day is a new beginning. So today, me just feeling and being open with you guys and saying, it is okay to feel like this. It is okay to have days where you're just going, I can't do it. It's just too hard. Or days where you're just going, I don't feel you, God. As long as we don't stay there, as long as we don't just surrender and go, forget it's all too hard. Because tomorrow comes, and tomorrow is a hope that we've not yet experienced. So be okay if you're feeling it, similar to what I am at the moment, where you're just a bit flat with everything. I want to assure you of our prayers too, because you guys, our listeners, we get it. We understand we're human too, and we understand that there are all sorts of parts of the journey when it comes to our spiritual life, our Christian faith. But honestly, it's just the ability to be real and be vulnerable and to just say, yeah, not there today, God, to other people is quite powerful. So if you're feeling that today, guys, and you are a part of a church like here on the coast, talk to someone. Talk to the pastor. Talk to someone who you trust, because it's every season and situation is normal. There are normal days of everything. There's the happy clappy ones and there's the not so happy clappy ones, and there's days where we feel it and days that we don't. But I think if we keep our eyes on the fact that God has, through Scripture we see time and time again, we can trust that He knows what He's doing in those moments of isolation, of overwhelm, of disconnect, all those sorts of things. He's there. We just have to keep pushing through and knowing that, we've got to keep talking to Him. We've got to talk to Him. We've got to talk to others who can be lifting us up, and just be real. Just be honest. Rightio, I'm going to leave this one for now, and I'll be back before too long. So see you soon. And welcome back. That was Invisible by Leland. You are joining us here at Rhema CC. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host, and I am enjoying my moment with you as we go. It's been one of those weird mornings where I've just been kind of going, I don't know where we're going, God. And then slowly He's been just revealing piece by piece what He wants us to explore here today. And a lot of it has to do with almost a sense of discontentment with Him, actually. Those moments of, I'm not happy, God. I'm not happy with the plans that You have for me. Let's reframe this, because really this is not working for me. Which, in the scheme of things, it's really not supposed to be about us. But I don't think being honest, or I should say, I don't think not. Sorry, let me get my head around this. I think, when we are not honest about how we feel about things, it doesn't really help anything. So I am encouraging us this morning, after God encouraged me this morning, to be honest, to be upfront and say, hey, I'm not feeling it this morning. I'm not, or today, or in the last few weeks. I'm flat. I'm tired. I've got nothing really to give. I'm feeling like I'm sort of flying solo, like God's not really amongst it. And there are moments where we do feel like that. It's very normal, and I think sometimes it is actually a test of our faith. I think sometimes God is saying to us, do you actually believe it? Do you actually believe that I will come to the occasion? I'll turn up. I'll be with you in the restoration, the rebuild, and the refocus. Now, this is one of the things that I guess one of the reasons that I'm very mindful of the position I'm sitting in at the moment, because I look back at my life and I think I made some really stupid choices based on being in this moment. What do I mean by that? I mean, I walked away from my Christian faith for about 7 years because I had moments of feeling that God wasn't around. It almost felt like those questions of, are you really there, God? Do you actually exist? You know, those moments that creep in and those thoughts that come in when you're in that place where it's not dark, it can be. It's not necessarily a dark place. It's just this, it's almost hollow. There's just kind of nothing to it. And when I look back at my time as a teenager to early adulthood, like I would say 22-ish, when was when I kind of reworked things up and kind of went, okay, I need to sort myself out before God. But there was a lot of it. It was a lot of those questions of, are you actually there, God? Because I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like you are connected to me at the moment. I'm not feeling like you are in my world, in my walk, which is just utter nonsense. But that is how I was feeling at the time. And so I recognize that it can be a very human trait to go to what is the immediate feel-good sort of scenarios. What will make me feel better? And yeah, it's a bit of a bizarre one because we are obviously just so equipped to just be dealing with how to make things better. Obviously, we've learned since then in terms of what happens to our chemicals in our brain and what we're actually driving for. We're looking for that dopamine hit. We're looking for things that keep things interesting because that's how our society is built. We have this constant need for, let's keep the things happy and alive. So when we're forced into situations in our spiritual faith that they feel dull, they feel like there's just nothing there, then we're in a situation where that fork is, we're sitting at that fork of the road where we could go one way or we could go another way. And I want to encourage you guys, if you are tempted or you find yourself tempted to, behaviorally respond in a different way than is God honoring, pray about it. Talk to someone that you're accountable to. It's an honest realization for myself to go, that's how I've dealt with things in the past. I have, I've looked for that thing that's going to bring joy rather than, okay, there's something in this for me to learn. God is still trying to equip me and to prepare me and change my character in this. Psalm 34:17 says, the righteous cry out and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. He values what we have to say. If we have a relationship with him, he values our heart. He values what is going on for us. And that is really, really exciting to hear, I think. It's really, really affirming. I'm going to end this one with this. Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. What's he saying? He's saying, I've got you. I've got you. Even when you don't feel it, I've got you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Really struggling with the whole speaking thing this morning, so I'm just going to hold it there just because my voice is not quite there and I'm just feeling like I need to cough constantly. But we'll leave it there so you don't have to listen to that. But I'll be back before too long and I'll speak to you. We'll close things off shortly. See you soon. And welcome back, Coasties. That was multiplied by need to breathe. And that is actually how I'm feeling right now. I've got a need to breathe because I'm just coughing and spluttering. I'm feeling very tight in the chest. It's not been a good morning. But anyway, there's a lot of it going around. My kids have had it. Well, 2 of my kids. I'm hoping that means that the other 2 are going to be okay. They're at home. The 3 are, skedaddled across the state. So hopefully for their sake, they won't be catching whatever this thing is. It's not been fun, but yeah. Guys, we've been talking some heavy stuff this morning, and I don't mean for it to be heavy. I mean for it to be reassuring. We've been talking about those moments where it just feels like God's not right there. He's not, the connection isn't there. He's not around. He's not felt. The presence is not felt. What can we do about it? Praise is a great place to start. Praise when you can. I don't have much voice at the moment, but you bet I've still praise. I'm going to praise with the windows closed in my car as I drive because no one else wants to hear that. But I'm going to make sure that praise becomes a part of what, how I respond to where I'm feeling at the moment. The things that I'm experiencing in terms of a lack of connection to God. Prayer, scripture, it's all things that we need to pull ourselves towards. And I think one of the things when we talk about therapies and making changes that are going to impact our lives differently, I've spoken about it before, but CBT is cognitive behavioural therapy, and it's a therapy that basically challenges our thoughts and then challenges our heart. It is our heart too, but it's our behaviours in response to that. And when I look at that, I think this is a perfect example of how we can apply this to a situation that is a spiritual element, and it's recognizing what we're thinking, the feelings that we have, the things that are, just God, you just seem so far away, and then saying to ourselves, all right, how do we respond to that? We do the opposite to what we feel. We do the opposite. If you're someone who battles with anxiety, depression, something like that, there's a good chance you've been introduced to a therapy like this. You are being challenged to do the complete opposite to what you want to do. You are not responding in fear, you're responding in bravery. You're going, okay, I'm feeling like this, but I need to do this to counteract that. And the same thing goes for this. It is a response of our heart that says to God, okay, they're committed. They're in this. I've got something to work with. I said a little while ago that, part of me has become very aware of behaviourally how we can respond at times, because we just want things to feel good. We just want it to feel better. We just want to feel like, okay, well, maybe if God's not there, at least I can do something that is going to make me feel good. And that comes in all sorts of facets of society. That comes in all different choices that we make. Addictions are developed through things like that. But it is a deeper, it's that core issue of I'm trying to feel good. I'm trying to feel better. I'm trying to feel like I'm not isolated. All these, it's that running from what feels bleh. And so I highlight that because I just think if you are there spiritually at the moment, there may be things that you might find yourself drawn to. I mean, and we know scripturally we're told that there is, the devil prowls around like a lion ready to devour, basically. And he's going to jump on those moments where we're weak. So we have to be mindful that when we are weak, we have to spin it. We have to do things that are going to make us closer to God, that are going to bring back that fight that says, no way, I'm God's kid. And God comes close to us when we are in that. So let me challenge you today, guys. If you are feeling it, or if you know of somebody who is feeling it, pray for them, pray for yourself. Ask for help if you are experiencing those sorts of emotions that are just, God, so far away, that sort of stuff. Unity comes with a willingness to be vulnerable, to be exposed, to be, just to be real. So my challenge to you today, obviously, is to do that. Be real. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here because I'm really not feeling 100%, but I'll see you guys hopefully next week. Crossing my fingers, toes, and saying a big prayer. But have an awesome Sunday, and I'll see you back here before too long. Well, not today, but next week. See you guys.